What's going on, guys? So my 2022 season has officially come to a close. It's ended. It's just crazy how fast these seasons are just racking up, and I just feel like each one just goes faster and faster, but we're done now and we're officially into off season. So that means it's time for my annual video where I go over my entire season, my individual goals, if I met those goals, how the team performed, and just give my thoughts and overall review of the year. Before I do that, I really just want to thank all of you for all the support, whether that's just watching my YouTube videos here on YouTube, or if that's following along with my games on TV, or even if that's coming to my games in person, shaking my hand, talking to me after the game. Honestly, all that support means so much to me. And I really don't say this enough, but I really want to thank all of you for that, because I really, really appreciate all that support. And I would honestly not be here without all you guys. So thank you so much. If you guys weren't able to catch any of my games this season, but you want to in the future, then all of my games are streamed live on ESPN Plus if you're in North America, or if you're outside of North America, you can watch them all for free on YouTube. And a little tip for you guys, if you do live in North America and you don't want to pay for ESPN Plus, you can just use a VPN to change your location to like England or somewhere outside of North America, and then you can watch all the games for free on YouTube instead. And that's actually going to bring me the sponsor of today's video, Surfshark VPN. A VPN is a virtual private network that masks what you do online. When you're using a VPN and your device connects to the internet, all of your information is basically blurred out, or it's encrypted so other people can't see it. Anybody that wants to snoop on you or see what you're doing is unable to because of that encryption. So that means they're unable to see what you're doing and where you're located. A VPN, like I said, also lets you travel the world virtually with a tap of a finger. And it does this by allowing you to change your IP address to wherever you want. And this is great for a couple of reasons, because if you're traveling and you're outside the US, you can change your location back to your home country so you can view all of your programs that are only available there. Or on the flip side, if you're at home and a TV show or program or maybe a USL Championship streamed live on YouTube is unavailable to you, then you can just change your location to somewhere else where it is available. If you love to go to cafes and work, or if you're traveling all over the place, or you're always connected to other public Wi-Fi, Surfshark will keep you safe even on unknown public networks. I really love Surfshark VPN because one Surfshark account can be used on unlimited devices. It's available for PC, Mac, Linux, Android, iOS, Amazon Fire Stick, Apple TV, Chrome, Firefox, Xbox, PlayStation, and there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. Honestly, I use a VPN about once a week to change my location outside of the US so I can watch all of my USL Championship games on YouTube for free, just because I like the interface of YouTube. I'm more comfortable there, and it's easier for me to download the games onto my desktop or computer. And purchasing a 24-month VPN plan is one of the best options available out there right now. And if you use my link or scan the QR code right here, you can get 3 months for free. And did I mention that it's 83% off? It really is that easy. Just enter my promo code ELITE. By the way, it has a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Thank you once again to Surfshark for sponsoring this video. So for this 2022 season, my team, the Charleston Battery, we finished 12th in the Eastern Conference out of 14 teams, and 25th out of the entire league out of 27 teams. And our record was 6 wins, 7 ties, and 21 losses. And there's no way to really sugarcoat this, but we really had a terrible season. If I'm looking at my entire career, this season was actually the worst season in terms of team performance, in terms of wins, that I've had in my 8 professional seasons that I've been a part of. And if I'm being honest, I kind of struggled this year just dealing with that, coping with that, week in and week out mentally. It was a season full of a lot of down periods, which was tough. I talk a lot about the roller coaster of emotions that you go through playing professionally, and you'll have seasons where there's more highs than lows, and this season was definitely one where there was a lot more lows than highs. So overall, looking at the team performance throughout the season, it did not meet any expectations, any of the goals that we had set out. We did not make playoffs. We were towards the bottom of the entire league, and it's just a tough year. I mean, there's no other way to put it. But on the bright side, this group of guys on the team, I think, was one of the best groups that I've been a part of. I think that I grew extremely close to a lot of the players, and I think that if I didn't have this great group of guys surrounding me, through this tough year, I think that it could have been a lot worse mentally. And just showing up and being around these great teammates that I had, it made it a lot easier to come in day out even though we were having such a tough season and a tough year in general. And I always think life is kind of funny where it's always pros and cons. It's never like all good or it's never all bad. There's always pros and cons. And looking at my individual performance over the season, I think that was pretty similar as well. So my goals that I had set out for myself at the beginning of the season were to have 30 appearances, 3 goals, and 5 assists. And my actual numbers for the year was 29 appearances, 0 goals, and 2 assists. Out of those 29 appearances, I made 27 starts. I played 13 games at right back, 9 games at center back, 4 games at left back, and 4 games at right wing back. And even though I kind of underperformed in the stats category, I do attribute that to playing almost 10 games, like a third of the season at center back, which was one, a position that I'd never played really before, and 2, is a position where you're not really involved that much in the attack. So I think that definitely was a big contributing factor as to why, I didn't get on the stat sheet as much as I wanted to. And honestly, even the 13 games at right back and the 4 games at left back, towards the first half of the season, we really kind of played with our fullbacks really reserved offensively. We had to be very conservative with how we were going to attack. I wasn't really encouraged to make overlapping runs to get involved in the attack that much. I could make deeper crosses, which you guys will probably see in my highlight videos where majority of my offensive contribution really came from, but it was kind of more just hold back and be in a supportive role for that winger, which also made it difficult to get involved in that final third play. Now, like I said, playing center back was something that was new to me this year, and if I'm being 100% honest, I really did not enjoy. I know that one of my best strengths as a player is my versatility and my ability to play multiple different positions and feel comfortable there, but I do like playing more towards the outsides of the field, and especially in positions where I can have that freedom to push up the field. And at center back, you don't get that much of that. Now, I think most players are pretty similar to how I am and how I think. I think that given the choice between playing center back or being on the bench, I'll choose center back every single time. I would rather be on the field and playing versus on the bench. And the same thing looking forward. If a top USL Championship team or an MLS team wants me at center back and sees me at center back and they want me to play there next year for them, I would for sure do that and get in that role just to have a great opportunity like that. But if given the choice, if I could have my ideal situation, I would for sure play right fullback. Looking over my performances at center back, I think I did well there, to be honest, for the most part. You get a lot of touches on the ball. It's not the most fun touches, it's more just playing simple and playing smart, but you do get on the ball a lot, which I liked. And you also kind of are forced to step up into more of a leadership role, which I also liked. Kind of pushed outside my comfort zone, did a lot more talking and organizing versus just running and just tackling and flying up the field. So just little changes, and I had to adapt to that, and I thought that for the most part, I adapted pretty well. But I do think my best attribute is just my ability to fly up the field, get involved in the attack, fly back on the field, 1v1 defend, and just repeat that 90 times over the course of a game. And I think that is kind of wasted a little bit as a center back. Now for the good parts of the season. I was very close to hitting my goal for the season. I had 29 appearances. My goal was 30 appearances, and there's only 34 games in the entire USL season, so very close this year to hit that. Overall, I think playing in 29 games and starting 27 of them is a pretty big accomplishment. And I think if I would have been asked at the beginning of the year if I would have been happy with that, I'd been like, yeah, I'll take that. That's a good number of games to get in. This season, I also crossed over the 100 USL regular season games milestone, and I crossed over 10,000 USL championship minutes, which is pretty cool. I think both of those are pretty big accomplishments in the USL in general. When I crossed both of those milestones, I actually kind of thought back to my first season just training with Sacramento Republic in 2015, and it made me think back to just how much I wanted to be on the field and how I just kind of told myself, even if I could just get into a couple professional games, even just one professional game, I would be happy with that. And I wouldn't be satisfied, but it would be a big milestone. So the fact to cross over now 100 of those games and play over 10,000 minutes, it was pretty cool just to see how far I've come over these last 7-8 years. And also even getting in 29 games this season, it kind of made me think back to St. Louis back in 2017 when I struggled so much just with these little injuries popping up every single week and kind of like not getting in the lineup sometimes and just really struggling. I just remember thinking like, man, I would give anything for a full season of games. Just a full season, 30 games, that would just be a dream come true. So like I said, there are definitely some positives that come out of this season. I also think this year was the biggest year of growth for me in terms of leadership. Obviously, for the first few years of my career, I was a rookie. I was one of the younger guys. I kind of just did what other people told me to do and just kind of shut up and did the work. And then as I transitioned into Tulsa, you know, I was probably about middle of the pack. We had more of an older team, especially the final 2 years. So I was just kind of middle of the pack. I wasn't one of the older guys. But then here at Charleston, we have a very young team, or had a very young team. So I was actually the oldest player at the age of 29 and now 30. So I was almost kind of forced to step into that leadership role and step outside my comfort zone. And I think that I definitely grew a lot as just a player and as a leader in that aspect for sure. I also was pretty excited because for about 10 games or so, I was named captain, which was great to wear the armband and to just get that experience as a captain. Again, stepping outside my comfort zone, pushing even more into that leadership role. That's something that I really enjoyed. And it also was a long-term goal that I had for myself. I mean, ever since, you know, as soon as you start playing in games, one of your dreams that you think about is I would love to wear the captain's armband for a game. So that was cool to also accomplish that. The final positive thing that I'll say individually was that this was one of the years where I really felt like the game really slowed down for me when I was playing. I'm not saying that it was easy or that it slowed down. I felt like Messi out there, but I just felt very composed and confident on the ball this year, especially looking back over the last 7 other professional seasons that I've had. And I owe that not only to just becoming older and more experienced, but I really owe that to all of the work I do in the off season, all the tight space training, all of the rondos, all of the small sided games, all of the touches I get. I think finally that's coming together, and I really feel like I'm entering into my prime of my career where I feel great physically. I'm really understanding my position and understanding the game. I think my technical skills are getting up to that level where I'm very confident on the field with the ball, and I just think it's all kind of coming together at the right time. Now, ideally, you'd want this to happen around 18, 19 years old and not 30, but I've always been a bit of a late bloomer. In terms of my body too, you know, I always get jokes about being grandpa or I'm 30 years old, but honestly, I feel like my body is 21 years old. It feels great. I'm very well aware that anything can happen and things change very fast. You can feel great one day and then you need surgery the next day. But honestly, I'm very happy with just how I'm feeling at 30 years old. I really feel like I'm 10 years younger, 20 years old running out there. I mean, even this year, I won the fitness test. I really didn't have any problems with my body besides just general soreness. And honestly, I kind of felt like even with the training sessions, I always kind of wanted to do more. I felt like they were a little light and I wanted to play more, do more, stay after. So yeah, if I can keep this up and keep taking care of my body in the way that I have been, I can foresee myself playing at a high level for a long time, at least just physically. So yeah, that is my 2022 season summed up. Highs and lows for sure. Definitely highs and lows. And then in the next video, I'll go over what my off-season plans are. I'll go over what my training's gonna look like, where I'll be, what the plan is, all that stuff in the next video. But for the next 2 weeks, I'm just hanging out, vegging out. I'm eating whatever I want, drinking whatever I want, and just letting the body just decompress after a full season. So anyway, guys, I'll catch you in November when off-season training starts. Peace.